Hello friends, today we'll start our first chapter of chemistry, that is basic concepts of chemistry. If you are new to our channel, then please subscribe to our channel. Now let us begin the chapter. The first question is, what is science? Science can be viewed as a continuing human effort to systematize the knowledge for describing and understanding the nature. We know that chemistry is based on the chemical changes. So what are chemical changes and what are the examples of chemical changes? We will see. The chemical changes are also called irreversible changes that cannot be reversed. And examples are curd formation from milk, formation of vinegar from sugarcane juice, rusting of iron. For our convenience, the science is divided into branches such as chemistry, biology, physics, geology, etc. But in this chapter or in this video, we will study only about chemistry, the branch of science that studies with the preparation, properties, structure and reaction of material substances is called chemistry. It is also called the science of atoms and molecules. The two interesting things that interacted many of the people are philosopher's stone or the Paras stone, which would convert all baser materials, that is iron and copper, into gold, elixir of life, which would grant immortality. People in ancient India already had a knowledge of many scientific phenomena much before the modern science. The chemistry developed in the two forms. First is alchemy and second is electrochemistry. Electrochemistry was developed during 1300 to 1600 and modern chemistry was developed in the 18th century in Europe. Alchemical tradition was introduced in Europe by Arabs. Indian and Chinese has their own alchemical tradition. This included knowledge of many chemical processes and techniques. Now we will see the different names of chemistry in India. Rasayan Shastra, Ras Tantra, Ras Kriya, Ras Vidya. It included metallurgy, means the process of extraction of metal, medicine, manufacturing of medicine, manufacturing of cosmetics, glass, dyes, etc. These evidences we can trace in many places such as Mohenjo-daro in Sindh, Harappa in Punjab, Maski in South India, Hastinapur and Taxila in North India, Ajanta and Ellora caves. Now we will see the earliest chemical processes or process. It means the first chemical process. The baked bricks were used in the construction. It shows mass production of pottery. It is the process in which materials were mixed, molded and subjected to heat to achieve the desirable qualities. This is also known as the earliest chemical process. Its evidences are found in Mohenjo-daro, that is in Sindh. Harappas made faience, sort of a glass, which was used in ornaments. They improved the hardness of copper for making artifacts by using tin and arsenic. Glass was covered by coloring agents like metal and oxides. This can be seen at Harappa in Punjab. Now we will see copper metallurgy. Copper metallurgy means the extraction of copper. In India, it dates back to the beginning of Chalcolithic cultures in the subcontinent. Now we will see some books or Shastra and what they teach us. First is the Rig Veda. Tanning of leather and dyeing of cotton were practiced during 1000 to 400 BC. Next is Kautilya Shastra. It describes the production of salt from sea. It also mentions many types of liquors. Sushruta Samhita explains importance of alkalis and asravs. Chakra Samhita tells us how to prepare some kinds of acids such as sulfuric acid, nitric acid, oxides of copper, tin and zinc, sulfates of copper, zinc, iron, carbonates of lead and iron. It also describes the treatment of diseases. Next is Rashopnida. It describes the preparation of gunpowder. In Tamil, the gunpowder is prepared by using sulfur, charcoal and mercury. Now we will see two Indian scientists. First is Nagarjuna. He is the reputed chemist, an alchemist and a metallurgist. His work Ras Ratnakar deals with the formulation of mercury. He also discussed methods of extraction of metals like gold, silver. His book describes methods by which metals could be identified by the flame color. Next is Chakrapani. He discovered mercury sulfide. He credited by inventing soap also goes to him. He used mustard oil and some alkalis as ingredient for making soap. In India, it started in the 18th century. Oil of Arandi and Mahua plant and calcium carbonate were used for making soap. Vahamihir's Brihat Samhita, and it is a kind of encyclopedia composed in the 16th century. It describes the preparation of glutinous material to be applied on the walls, roofs of houses, and temples. It is prepared by the extract of plants, fruits, seeds, and barks, which were concentrated by boiling and then treated by various resins. Atharvaveda. It mentions some dye-stuff material used for turmeric madder, sunflower, and lactic. Next is Vahamihir's Brihat Samhita. The above we have seen is continuing here. This evidence can be seen at the caves of Ajanta and Ellora. Now, it also gives reference to perfumes and cosmetics. Recipes of hair dyeing were made from plants like indigo and minerals like iron power. Gandhayukli describes the recipes for making scents, mouth perfumes, bath powder, incense, and talc powder. Colors of ink made from the chalk red lead and minimum. Now we will see the most important word and scientist name in this topic, that is Acharya Kandu, generally known as Kashyap. He was the first to proponent of atomic theory. He formulated theory of small individual particles named Parmanu. According to him, all the substances are made from smaller units called atoms or Parmanu. Their motion cannot be sensed by any human organ. Unseen forces cause interaction between them. He conceptualized this theory around 2500 years before John Dalton. Chemistry makes possible synthesis of such drugs. Taxol in cancer therapy, AZT in AIDS. Now we will see what is matter. Anything which has a mass and occupies space is called matter. Examples are pen, book, air, since they are all composed of matter. Now we will see the states of matter. First is solid. In this, all the particles are packed closely. Next is liquid. They are suspended freely. Gas, they are very free. Now we will see definitions and what is a solid. They have definite volume and shape. There is not much freedom of movement between particles. In liquid, they have definite volume but no definite shape. They take the shape of container and particles can move. Gas, they do not have definite volume nor definite shape. They completely occupy the space in the container. Solid, liquid and gas, they all are interconvertible. If we heat solid, it will convert into liquid, and if we heat liquid, it will give vapor or gas. If we cool gas, we will again get liquid, and if we cool liquid, we again get solid. Hope that you understand this. Now we will start classification of matter. Matter is divided into two, mixtures and pure substances. These both are again divided into two subparts, homogeneous mixtures and heterogeneous mixtures, and pure substances into elements and compounds. Now we will understand pure substances. Pure substances, when all constituent particles of a substance are in same chemical nature, it is said to be pure substances. Example, copper, silver, iron, cold, water, glucose, etc. Mixtures. Mixtures contain particles of two or more pure substances which may be present in it in any ratio. Hence their composition is variable. Now we will see the two subtypes of mixtures. First is homogeneous mixture. The component completely mix with each other. This means that particles of the components of mixtures are uniformly distributed throughout bulk of mixture and its composition is uniform throughout. Example is sugar solution, air. The best way to identify homogeneous mixture is the components are not visible. Heterozygous mixture. The composition is not uniform throughout and sometimes the components are visible. Example, salt and sugar, grains and pebbles. To separate these, we use simple methods like hand picking, filtration, crystallization and distillation. These we have learned in our earlier classes. Now we will look at the two subparts of pure substances, that is, first is element. Particle of an element consists of only one type of atom. Particles may exist as atoms. Example is sodium, copper, silver, oxygen. Next is compound. When two or more atoms of different elements combine together in a definite ratio, the molecule of compound is obtained. Moreover, they cannot be separated by physical methods, but they can be separated by chemical methods, that is water and CO2. Here I have explained the formation of water and CO2. Here one atom of oxygen is combined with two atoms of hydrogen. Therefore, this is known as compound. Similarly, this also. Every substance has a unique property. These properties can be identified into two. First is physical property and chemical property. The basis of physical properties are color, odor means smell, melting point, boiling point, density. Chemical properties, composition, combustibility, reactivity. Earlier two types of measurement are there for the physical properties. First is English system and metric system. English system was in 1960 and metric system was invented in 18th century in France. It was based on the decimal system. Now, the International System of Units SI established by 11th General Conference on Weight and Measurement CGPM created by the diplomatic treaty known as the Metric Convention signed in Paris in 1875. This is the full form of CGPM. Now, we will see quantity and their symbol or the SI symbol. First is length, meter, time, second, temperature, Kelvin, luminous intensity, CD, mass, kg, current, ampere, amount of substances, mole. Now we'll look at mass. A mass of a substance is the amount of matter present in it. Mass of a substance is constant. It is determined accurately by using analytical balance. Its SI unit is kg, but gram is used in the laboratory due to smaller amount of chemical used in the chemical reaction. Next question is, what is weight? Weight is a force exerted by the gravity on an object. It can vary from place to place due to the change in gravity. Next is volume. It is the amount of space occupied by a substance. Its unit is length cube. And its SI system, length SI unit is meter. Therefore, the SI unit of volume is meter cube. Hence, the volume is denoted in centimeter cube or decimeter cube, since in laboratories small volume is used. It is measured by graduated cylinder, burette, pipette, volumetric flask. Their photos are given in our textbook. Next is density. What do you mean by density? And what is SI unit? Density is the amount of mass per unit volume. Density is equals to mass upon volume. And its SI unit is kg meter cube or gram per centimeter cube. It tells us how closely the particles are packed. If density is more, it means particles are more closely packed. Next is temperature. Examples, there are three types, that is Celsius, Fahrenheit and Kelvin. The SI unit of temperature is Kelvin. Thermometer with Celsius vary from 0 degree Celsius to 100 degree. Thermometer with Fahrenheit from 32 degree to 212 degree. There is a relationship between Fahrenheit and Celsius. This is given here. You can learn. Now we will see the relation between Kelvin and Celsius. This is also given here. You can learn. Now, what is scientific notation? In science, the number of zeros go up to high. Therefore, we denote by using into 10. Suppose if there is 500, then we can write it as 5 into 10 to the power 2. And if there is 0.500, then we can write this as 5 into 10 to the power minus 2. So it will become 500. This is known as scientific notation. By this you have to do addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Now we will see the precision. Refers to the closeness of various measures. Accuracy is the arrangement of particular value. Here I have given a true value. This you can understand. This is also given in our book. Often while calculating, there is a need to convert units from one system to another. This method is called factor label method, unit factor method or division analysis. Now we will understand the 5 laws of chemical combinations. First is law of conservation of mass. This we have earlier learned. This law was put by Antoine Lavoisier in 1789. He performed experiment on combustion reaction and concluded that in all physical and chemical change there is no net change in the mass ducting the process. Hence he concluded that matter cannot be created nor be destroyed. Law of definite proportion is also known as law of definite composition. In this, he stated that the given compound always contain exactly the same proportion of elements. By weight, he worked with cupric carbonate. A given compound always contains same element combined with together in the same proportion of mass. Next is law of multiple proportion. It was given by John Dalton in 1803. According to lesson, if two elements can combine to form more than one compound, the masses of one element that combine with the fixed mass of other element are in the same ratio. Here example I have given this, you can see. Next is Gay-Lockel's law of gaseous volume. This law was given by Gay-Lussac as this can be understood from the law name only. When gases combine or are produced in a chemical reaction, they do in the simple ratio by volume, provided all the gases are at same temperature and pressure. Next is Avogadro's law. This we have learnt in 9th class also. He proposed that equal volume of all gases at same temperature and pressure should not contain equal number of molecules. After 50 years, he did not get any support. But after 50 years, in 1860, first International Conference of Chemistry was held in Germany, in which a sketch of course of chemical philosophy was emphasized importance of Avogadro's work. Next is Dalton's atomic theory. In 1808, he published a new system of chemical philosophy in which he proposed matter consists of individual atoms. All atoms have identical properties, including the identical mass. Atoms of different elements differ in their mass. Compounds are formed when atoms of different elements combined in the fixed ratio. Atoms can neither be created and nor be destroyed in the chemical reaction. One atomic mass unit is defined as a mass exactly equal to 1/12 of the mass of one carbon. 1 mol, it is unit and it is represented by U, is equals to 1.66056 into 10 to the power minus 24 grams. It is replaced by U, unified mass. Now we will see molecular mass. It is the sum of atomic masses of the elements present in the molecule. Here the molecular mass we will find of water, that is H2. We know that mass of hydrogen is 1 and mass of oxygen is 16. So hydrogen has 2 atoms, so therefore 2 into 1 plus 16, that will give you 18U. Now we will see formula mass. NaCl is used to calculate it, and atomic mass of sodium and atomic mass of chlorine. It will give you 58.5U. Now we'll see 1 mole. 1 mole is the amount of substance that contains as many as particles as there are atoms exactly in 12 gram of carbon. 1 mole is equals to 6.022 into 10 to the power 23, and this was known as Avogadro's constant. This we have learned in 9th class too. Now mass of 1 mole of a substance in gram is called the molar mass. It is same, but in molecular mass we use U as a unit place, and in molar mass we use gram per mole. Now mass percent. Mass percent is equals to mass of element in the compound upon molar mass of a compound into 100. Next is empirical formula. Empirical formula represents the simplest whole number ratio of various atoms. Molecular formula shows the exact number of different types of atoms present in the molecule of compound. Mass, moles and number of molecules are also interconvertible. We can find that. Mass percent is equals to mass of solute whole divided by mass of solution into 100. Mole fraction of A means the number of moles of A upon the number of moles of solution. Means that if A and B are two substances, then the number of moles of A will equals to moles of A whole divided by moles of A plus moles of B. Now we will see morality. It is denoted by capital M, number of moles of solute whole divided by volume of solution in the liters. Molality. It is denoted by small m. It is defined as a number of moles of solute present in 1 kg of solvent. And the formula is number of moles of solute whole divided by mass of solvent in kg. And morality, number of moles of solute are whole divided by volume of solution in liters. This is all about the basic chemistry, and hope that you understood the chapter and liked the video. So please like and share the video with your friends, and please subscribe to our channel. Thank you.